In Awareness, The Perils and Opportunities of Reality, Anthony de Mello speaks not as a preacher but as a wake-up call, echoing through the fog of human habit, self-deception, and unconscious living. From the very first pages, he challenges the reader to stop trying to change themselves. The real need, he says, is not to become better or holier or more successful, it is to become aware. Awareness is the key that unlocks reality, and reality, unfiltered and unpossessed, is the ground of true freedom. He doesn't coddle the reader. He doesn't feed affirmations or spiritual sugar. Instead, he invites us into discomfort, the discomfort of seeing clearly, without illusion, how attached we are to our opinions, how identified we are with our emotions, and how we mistake ourselves for the stories we've inherited and repeat. According to de Mello, people are not awake. They are walking in a dream of social conditioning and personal narrative, and most are terrified of waking because to wake is to lose all the borrowed securities they've built their lives upon. Through parables, humor, and biting insight, he illustrates how we cling to what others think of us, how our need for approval is just another leash, and how suffering often arises not from events but from our refusal to let go of our expectations and attachments. In a story about a man who searches high and low for happiness only to find it waiting silently where he began, de Mello shows the tragic irony of human striving: we search outside for what has always lived inside. His tone is often sharp, but never cruel. He wants to shake the reader out of their stupor. When he says, "You don't really want to be cured," he means that people would rather cling to their identity as sufferers or seekers than surrender to freedom, because freedom demands the death of the ego. That ego is a ghost constructed from memory, fear, and comparison, and the tragedy is that we call it me. But awareness changes everything. When one becomes aware of a feeling, say, anger or jealousy, without condemning it or justifying it, just witnessing it in stillness, the feeling loses its grip. It no longer drives action or distorts perception. It simply arises, passes, and vanishes like a wave on the surface of the sea. In this witnessing, says de Mello, lies liberation. Not the kind of liberation that removes all suffering from life, but the kind that removes you from being its prisoner. One of the core ideas is that nothing outside us, no person, no status, no success, can truly make us happy or sad. These states originate inside. When you see this clearly, without trying to convince yourself of it, something vital shifts. You stop blaming, stop needing, stop bargaining with the world. You begin to live from a center that is untouched by circumstances, because it is rooted in awareness itself. De Mello doesn't promote isolation or indifference. On the contrary, his vision of awareness leads to deep compassion. But it is a compassion that doesn't rescue or cling. It sees clearly that everyone must walk their own path, face their own illusions, and wake in their own time. Love, for de Mello, is not possession or sacrifice. It is freedom, the freedom to let another be fully themselves without needing them to fulfill your story. He warns against the spiritual ego, the part of us that gets proud of being aware or advanced. That, too, is just another identity. True awareness is egoless. It doesn't say, "Look how spiritual I am." It doesn't even say, "I am aware." It just sees. And what it sees is always changing, always moving, and always new. Clinging to no idea and resisting no experience, awareness becomes the quiet ground of peace. In his storytelling, he plays with contradictions. He tells the reader to observe their suffering, but not to try to get rid of it. He invites them to be fully present, but not to strive for presence. These paradoxes are not traps but doorways. They force the reader to stop thinking in linear terms and step into the immediate, undivided now. From that place, understanding comes not from logic but from clarity. There are moments of deep humor. De Mello uses jokes and ironic tales to reveal how absurd our seriousness is. We worry endlessly about what others think, but never question why we gave them that power. We chase goals that society told us would fulfill us, then wonder why we feel empty. In his laughter, there is kindness and precision. He's not mocking the reader, he's inviting them to laugh at the prison they didn't know they were in. He returns again and again to this central truth: awareness does not fix things, it transforms your relationship to them. The external world may remain chaotic, unfair, or unpredictable. But the internal world, once anchored in awareness, becomes spacious, fluid, and resilient. From this space, decisions are made not from fear or compulsion, but from clarity. Life becomes less a problem to solve and more a reality to meet. Freedom, in this book, is not dramatic or exotic. It's ordinary and intimate. It's the ability to be with yourself as you are, and with others as they are. It's waking up in the middle of the noise, not because the noise ends, but because you no longer mistake it for your identity. It is the difference between being inside the dream and seeing that you are dreaming. Mello doesn't promise eternal bliss or spiritual fireworks. He doesn't offer a path of rituals or affirmations. He offers something more radical: the end of illusion. To see things as they are, without resistance, without longing, is to taste a peace that is not dependent on anything. That, he says, is real love, real joy, and real spirituality. As the book draws to a close, he leaves the reader with a simple challenge. Watch. Just watch. Your thoughts, your fears, your roles, your relationships, watch them arise and pass like clouds in the sky. Don't analyze. Don't fix. Don't cling. Just see. And in the seeing, truth reveals itself, not as an answer, but as the ever-unfolding beauty of what is. Awareness is not a book you finish and move on from. It is a mirror you return to, again and again, until what you see no longer frightens or flatters you. It is a spiritual detonator, quiet but profound, designed not to soothe but to awaken. In a world full of noise, Mello hands you silence. In a culture of doing, he offers being. And in a life so often built on fear, he teaches the astonishing power of simply being aware.